Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fertile Talks. I'm your host, Dr. Yemi Famuyiwa, and today we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to be diving into one of the most fascinating topics in fertility. It's called epigenetics. Now, don't worry if that word sounds a little intimidating by the end of this episode. I hope that you will understand how knowing what epigenetics is can empower you to make choices that improve not only your fertility, but also the fertility of your future generations, like your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, can be affected by what we call epigenetics. So Let's start with a question. Have you ever wondered if the food you eat or the stress you may be experiencing could affect your future children, maybe even your grandchildren? Well, we now know science is telling us that it can. The choices we make today can change the way our genes are expressed and in turn influence the health of our future generations. This process is called epigenetics. So today we're going to break it down. What is it, epigenetics? All right. Let's start by defining what epigenetics is. Picture your DNA is a giant recipe book, and each gene in that book is a specific recipe. Now, you might have all the recipes in front of you, but that doesn't mean you're going to be using every single recipe at once, correct? So, epigenetics is like deciding which recipe you're going to make and which one you're going to leave on the shelf. It's the process that tells your body which genes to turn off and which genes to turn on. So even though the DNA itself doesn't change, the way that it is used can be changed. There are main ways our body manages to use this recipe book of genes, and that's through what is called DNA methylation and histone modification. Now, let's think of DNA methylation as maybe a little sticky note that you're going to put on a page in the recipe, right? So if you have that sticky note on that page, that sticky note tells you you are not going to read this recipe. So the recipe is on red, right? So DNA methylation works the same way. It adds a little chemical mark, like a sticky note, that shuts down that gene. The other way your genes can be modified or their expression is called histone modification. Now, what is histone modification? We talked about the recipe book of your genes, right? So think about your recipe book as curled, like the old fashioned curl rolls. So for people who are listening to this without the video, I'm holding up a scroll of paper, right? In the olden days, you used to write on a scroll. So the way you can read what's written depends on how tightly rolled this is or how loose it is. So if it's loose, I can read what's in it. If it's tightly rolled, I can't figure out what's in it. That's what histone modification is how tight or loose that histone is, which is going to decide if that DNA can be read by the mechanism that's going to read it, or it cannot read it, right? All right, let's keep going. How does your lifestyle affect epigenetics? So think of the epigenetics as a roadmap, right? So imagine your body is like a car driving down a long road, right? The road is your genetic roadmap. Epigenetics are the signposts that tell you turn left, turn right, stop, accelerate, slow down, right? So you can control some of this signposts, right? based on your lifestyle choices, based on what you eat, how much stress you manage or not manage, and even how often you exercise. So let's start with your diet. If you've ever cooked with really, really fresh, super quality, high ingredients, right, that makes a difference in the final dish, right? So the same goes for your fertility. The nutrients that you're cooking with to improve your roadmap is things like folic acid, vitamin B12, omega 3 fatty acids, the high quality ingredients that your body needs for healthy DNA methylation. Okay? Studies have shown that women who follow the Mediterranean diet, think leafy vegetables, fish, nuts, and olive oil, had better fertility outcomes. It's like when you put premium foil in your gas, or you're going to put a contaminated foil in your precious car and expect the engine to run smoothly and purr, right? So your reproductive system functions at its best if you put premium gas in it, not contaminated gas. Now, imagine you're driving down the road and you hit a traffic stop, red light. Okay? That's what stress does to your body. Chronic stress messes up with your epigenetic signpost, putting sticky notes all over the genes that control the hormones and ovulation. It's like blocking off important exits on your genetic roadmap. Studies show that women with high stress levels have altered DNA methylation in genes related to conditions such as PCOS and endometriosis, making it harder to conceive. But here's the good news. Just like you can avoid traffic by taking a different route, you can reduce stress by managing it well. Techniques like mindfulness, yoga, even just taking a few moments to breathe deeply can make all the difference. They remove those sticky notes and help your body get back on track. Okay? So, epigenetic inheritance, your lifestyle choices, your legacy. Okay? Here's where it gets really, really interesting. Epigenetics is not just about you, it's about your legacy. Let's think about your bodies as gardens. The seeds we plant today will grow into plants tomorrow. And if we take care of those plants, they'll continue to bloom for generations. Epigenetic changes can be passed down through the generations, like planting seeds for your children and grandchildren. For example, there was a study done on male mice that showed how a poor diet altered the DNA methylation in sperm. These changes were passed down to their offspring, resulting in metabolic and reproductive problems for the next generation. So, the choices we make today, what we eat, how we manage stress, and how we take care of our bodies, aren't just about us. They're about the health and fertility of our future children and grandchildren. And that's why I often remind my patients your fertility isn't just in your DNA, it's in your hands. Can epigenetics changes be reversed? Now, you might be wondering, if I've already made some not so great choices, is it too late to change? The good news is that epigenetics is like writing in pencil. You can erase and rewrite the story through what is called epigenetic plasticity. It means that the epigenetic changes aren't always permanent. They can be reversed with positive lifestyle changes. For example, clinical studies have shown that men who improve their diet and reduce exposure to toxins saw improvements in their sperm DNA methylation. It's like hitting the reset button on their genetic roadmap, allowing them to improve their fertility outcomes. So, improving your diet, reducing stress, getting regular exercise, and avoiding harmful chemicals can help restore normal epigenetic patterns, leading to better reproductive health. Now, how to optimize fertility epigenetically. Practical tips for your roadmap ahead. So, how can we optimize our fertility through epigenetics? Here are some practical tips for your journey. Fuel your body with a nutrient dense Mediterranean style diet. Think of it like putting premium gas in your car. Load up on folate, rich leafy greens, omega 3 fatty acids from fish, and antioxidants from fruits and veggies. These same nutrients will also support DNA methylation and fertility. Number two, all right, exercise. So we talked about diet, number one. Number two, exercise. Exercise regularly. Imagine this as keeping your car well tuned. Regular moderate physical exercise activity helps reduce inflammation and promotes healthy epigenetic changes in reproductive cells, improving both the egg and sperm quality. Number three, manage your stress level. Consider stress like roadblocks on your journey. Mindfulness, yoga, or even just taking time to relax can clear these roadblocks, allowing your body to function optimally. Number four, reduce exposure to toxins. Avoid using BPA laden plastics, choose organic products when possible, and limit exposure to pollutants. Think of this as choosing clean air and clear roads for your journey, free of unnecessary obstacles. Remember, epigenetics is like a roadmap that you can change. The choices we make today about what we eat, how we move, and how we manage stress aren't just about our fertility, but about creating a better and a healthier environment for our future generations. You have the power to influence the health of your children and grandchildren through the lifestyle decisions you make right now. So, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Fertile Talks, and I hope this conversation on epigenetics has empowered you to make the best choices for your fertility and the future fertility of your family. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to reach out. And if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to share with someone who might benefit from learning about the power of epigenetics. Until next time, remember, fertility is in your hands, and the road ahead is full of possibilities.